everybody. It's Randy with the Debt Coach Credit Counseling Service, and yes, I'm yellow again. But we've got some lights ordered, so we're hopefully in the next few weeks we could change that. I want to thank everybody for joining me this evening as we're going to start breaking down how to deal with debt, which I think is very important for us now since interest rates are climbing and budgets are shrinking. We need to kind of make room, and the best way to make room is probably to get out of debt. I also like to thank a few people that reached out to me from our last shows. We were able to assist them and help them solve their financial problems. It was actually quite rewarding. And I'd like to talk to you tonight a little bit about what's coming up in the future. Now, Budget Boot Camp has been moved. It is now on July 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we will be live on all our channels. But Budget Boot Camp, unfortunately, right now, a lot of people are on vacation and doing some summer things. And they asked me if you could please postpone it a little bit. We'll be able to be part of it. So mark your calendars down for July 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern for Budget Boot Camp. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing you all there as we start to learn how to do budgets. And of course, tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night, but the 17th of July. I'm going to be off next week, but the 17th of July, I will be back, and we're going to learn how to fix credit. Now, there's a lot of people out there in this world that pay to have this service done, to get their credit repaired. And a lot of companies out there do credit coaching, credit counseling, or anything they can, but they charge a fee for that service. And I just want to let you know that we get paid by your creditors to actually help you solve your credit and your financial situations. So please turn in on the 17th of July. I look forward to seeing you at 9 p.m. Eastern as we go live and we get ready to have some fun. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about, being off next week. I apologize. I want to apologize ahead of everybody. I'm on vacation. It was planned before we started doing these shows. But when I come back the 17th, we're going to have ourselves a lot of fun as we start ripping into repairing credit. And there's going to be shows after that, for FICO, understanding the FICO system, best ways of solving debt, with whether it be a consolidation debt or whether it be, maybe a debt management plan, maybe a debt settlement plan, maybe bankruptcy. We're going to discuss all these issues over the next few weeks. And tonight we're going to break down debt. And when I come back after this first commercial, because I do got to pay the bills, when I come back after this first commercial, we're going to break into debt. I'll talk to you in a few minutes. Attention all my friends out there in Facebook land. We have 7 days left of this amazing, and I mean amazing special we're giving away here at Rock the Cookie. You buy 2 dozen cookies or 2 pies or a combination of each before July 10th and receive a free Rock the Cookie t-shirt. And Rock the Cookie t-shirts come in many different colors and different faces. We have rock, we have chip, we have mo, we have milk, and they're fun to wear. And there's something you desperately want to have to add to your wardrobe. Like I said, this is the last week of the sale, so please go to rockthecookie.com today. Welcome back. Tonight we're going to break down debt, and we're going to figure out the best way and the best practices of how to pay off debt over time, especially when you're dealing with a mortgage, an auto, or student loans. We're going to definitely break those down, but we're also going to get into credit card debt and stuff like that. Actually, I put a nice list together for you so you can see exactly what we're getting ready to do. We're going to do mortgages, second mortgages, equity lines, auto, installment, credit cards, student loans, finance companies, payday lenders, and collections. Yes, we're going to take the next few minutes and we're going to deal with these items, and I'm going to give you the best advice on the best way to solve these things, especially how they deal with our life. Right now, with our budgets tightening, we really need to start looking at getting rid of some debts. And hopefully on here, there's a few debts you do not currently have, because I'm not a big fan of payday lenders or finance companies. And we're going to have a show on cleaning your credit on the 17th, so we'll be able to break down getting into the collection situation and working with your credit report. And I look forward to helping you at that time. Now, first, we're going to talk about mortgage loans. Now, today's mortgage rate is 5.9. 15-year mortgage is at 4.8. Now, those change, frequently depending on Well, for starters, depending on what your credit score is, but it's also depending on what the bond market's doing. The bond market has a lot of control in regards to what the interest rates do. A lot of people think it's the Fed. No, the Fed has a lot of control over borrowing interest rates, which is a lot to do with equity lines, credit cards, loans, things in that kind of the borrowing rate that the bank would borrow from. It is part of the mortgage loan. Don't get me wrong; they sometimes bleed into each other. As you can see, the rates have risen this year since they started raising interest rates, but to be accurate on an interest rate, you really want to watch the bond market. Now, my best advice when it comes to a mortgage is simple. You need to make an extra payment a year. If you can make an extra payment per year on your mortgage, you could drop the 30-year loan down to 24. You could drop a 15-year loan, I believe, down to 9, if not 10. And that's how you could save some money on interest on the long haul. Now, keep one thing in mind. Your mortgage is the only tax-deductible item we have in our lives. And sometimes it's nice to offset our taxes with our mortgages and put the extra money towards debt that we really need to concentrate on. Now, like I just said a minute ago, make an extra payment per year to reduce the terms. Now, set yourself up on a biweekly payment if you can't do yearly. Now, sometimes what I do, and I'm in this situation, if I take whatever little tax return I do get back and I add a little bit to it and I make my extra payment a year. But there are people out there that prefer to do it biweekly, and what they'll do is they'll take their payment and divide it by 26. No, don't do that. Take the payment divided by 24. Sorry about that. And then go ahead and just make the payments every 2 weeks on that 24th basis, and you wind up making an extra couple payments a year, which helps speed the process up and helping you get your mortgage taken care of. Now, that's your mortgage, but let's go to the second mortgage. Now, if you have a fixed rate second mortgage, the same as the first mortgage, we're going to treat it just the same as the first, because a fixed rate second basically needs to be paid off quick, but it's also, we're not afraid of the payments going up and down like we would if it was an equity line or things in that caliber, which we'll get into next. But a fixed rate, to pay it down faster, treat it like a first. Try to make an extra payment a year. Try to throw extra money towards it. It already has the interest kind of built into the payment, so you're reducing principal. It's actually a good thing to have when you're actually doing a second mortgage. If a second mortgage is done for home repair, sometimes that can be part of your tax deduction, so you might want to talk to your tax consultant about that. The one that gets me the most, though, I hate to say it, guys, is definitely the equity lines. Equity lines to me are just nothing but a large credit card attached to your house. So it's a secured credit card attached to your house. Most often or not, it's not a fixed rate. It's tied to the prime rate. And that's what's been being adjusted over the last 6 months. And unfortunately, it's going to continue to rise. And as that rises, that interest payment gets higher and higher. And as I just said, the interest payment. That's the one thing that gets me the most, is because a lot of people see their payment and they go, oh, look, I consolidated my credit cards and my payment's only $350 a month. But they don't understand that that is an interest-only payment of $350 a month. To make payments to reduce principal, you must pay above that. And I highly recommend that before you even think of consolidating your credit card or any kind of debt with an equity line, call a debt coach first. Give us a call. 888-767-9155. Just give us a call and let us look at your situation, because sometimes equity lines may make sense and sometimes they really don't. And one of the biggest issues we come from consolidating with equity lines is the fact that your credit cards are still open. And this is where I wind up getting a lot of my clients. They'll have a first mortgage, a second mortgage, or an equity line that they used as a consolidation before, and then they ran their credit cards back up and gave me a call. Trust me, I deal with this all the time, and I'd love to avoid that issue in the beginning. I'd rather deal with your credit cards than your equity line. So in the future, keep that in mind. To get yourself out of that equity line as fast as you can, you got to make substantial payments towards it. Treat it like a credit card. One of the ways we do credit cards is we do the 36-month payment thing. So I would ask you to kind of take your balance, divide it by 36. Make sure you add whatever today's interest rate into the calculation and make that payment monthly if you can get it out of debt in 36 months. Now, car loans are a little different. We all have auto loans. It's one of the things, especially today, because cars are in the $60,000 range. Are you kidding me? I can't believe how high and expensive cars are. And then electric cars are so affordable, so unaffordable, we can't even consider them. It's just a new racket. But the main thing is with autos, we got the interest rates are usually fixed. They're usually built into the loan, so it's kind of a hard thing to pay off. Banks kind of rely on that. Auto loans is kind of a base, so they usually have a prepayment penalty if you decide to pay it off early. Usually it's like $150 or $200. It's not something substantial. But if you want to pay your car off early, you can always make extra payments, raise your payment to the highest 100, things in that caliber. But you're at the very end, you're going to have to deal with that prepayment penalty. That's just how the banks, cover themselves, and what else can we do about that? Now, installment loans, we're going to talk first about installment loans that you obtained from the bank. Maybe a signature loan, or maybe you went in and got a gym loan or something to count. Gym loan, that's funny. Went out and got some equipment for yourself to make yourself look sexy this summer. Things in that caliber. I mean, if you go in and borrow some money from the bank, it's usually, again, a fixed rate. And it's treated like a mortgage in the same kind of way. You want to make extra payments. If your budget's a little tight, you want to work it into your budget, but try to make extra payments to try to pay it off faster. There usually is no prepayment penalty with installment loans. So that one right there, I would highly recommend that you do. Now you're entering my world. As a nonprofit credit counselor, I do work with all the credit card companies on a daily basis. We have debt management plans here that we offer, and we do disperse to the credit cards daily to make sure they're paid on time and make sure the bills are taken care of and things of that caliber. That's what a debt management plan is. But tonight we're dealing with credit cards, and they should be paid off fully in a month. If it's what they're for. It's how you get the best points. It's how you get the best everything. Is if whatever you charge, you pay it off every month. If you're unable to pay it off every month, then I need for you to really pull your statements out, and let's take a look at them for a second and look at the payment options they have on your statements. Because you should see what a minimum payment, how long it takes a minimum payment to be paid off. And then you should be able to see a 3-year payment there. Now, the 3-year payment's kind of important because that's the kind of one that may fit within your budget. It may seem high, but you're also dealing with a higher interest rate that is absolutely climbing with the Fed these days. So you got to keep in mind that you're dealing with 20, 22%, 16, 18, 19, whatever it is. You want to put substantial payments towards it. And if you can't do it, at least they gave you the 3-year payment on the statement. If you make the 3-year payment and stop using your credit cards, you're going to be fine. But if you can't make that 3-year payment and you're stuck towards the minimums and you're struggling with this debt, it's very simple. You just pick up the phone and call me. And call a debt coach at 888-767-9155. And we'll sit back and talk about lowering your interest rates through a debt management plan. Some creditors go as low as 2%. The savings alone is amazing as we get you out of debt, because to me, in my opinion, you only need your credit for 3 things in this world. That's a mortgage, a car, and a student loan and an education. And that's if you need that one. Everything else is just for credit scores and making you look good and things in that caliber. But I will teach you in the future how to have credit and look good without being in debt. Because imagine the money you're putting towards your credit card debt now. Wouldn't it be great to be put it towards savings or maybe buying a home? There's so many important things in this world, but unfortunately it's so convenient and it's right there for us. Now, next is student loans. Now, student loans is coming into repayment here pretty soon, so we need to get ourselves prepared for that. I believe somewhere end of August is the last I heard that student loans are going to have to come back into repayment. So if you have issues and you have student loans out there and you haven't had to pay them for a long time, and you're waiting for the forgiveness thing that may or may not happen, I highly recommend that you go to studentaid.gov, and if they're government loans, and sign into your service provider, and inside there you'll see a place called Click Repayment Options. And you can just follow the simple steps that are there, and it'll set up either different types of programs. It might be a deferred program. It might be an interest kind of only type situation program. There's also payment options that can do forgiveness over 30 years. There's all kinds of different things that are available when it comes to student loans. And it is kind of confusing, and there are people out there in this world that will charge you to help you. And again, that's why I say give Randy, hi, how you doing? This guy, a call at 888-767-9155. But I'm extension 4, and I'm the one that will handle all student loan help and credit help. And extension 1 does all the debt stuff, so you guys have fun with that extension. Finance companies. I hate finance companies. You have no idea over the past 30 years how many times I have gotten arguments and fights with these predatory lenders taking advantage of the simple individual who only wanted to get furniture or maybe wanted to do a 90 days same as cash and couldn't pay it off in time, and it wasn't a credit card thing, it was a finance company. You got to be careful. A lot of those furniture places are not backed by a credit card, they are backed by a finance company. You need to read the information when you're signing up for it, because as soon as that hits play and the time frame is up, they're going to go to the highest interest rate known to man. The reason I got Eagle on here, which is the one I hate the most, and I really honestly don't care if they sue me. The fact is they charge above the interest rate legal limit in the state of Kentucky, and that does upset me. But I'm sure there are companies just like this throughout the United States, and I'm just begging you to please stay away. Another thing about these companies that drive me kind of nuts is what it does to your credit report. I mean, they take the entire balance of what you owe plus interest as it's timed out over the term of your loan, and they put that in your credit report. It makes it look like you owe twice to three times more than you borrowed. And it just really messes with all the ratios and numbers, and it doesn't help your credit score in any which way, shape, or form, because it does start to affect within your debt weight, because it is considered an unsecured loan, even though you might have your lawnmower or your toaster attached to it. But just keep in mind, if you got to do finance companies in the world, before you take that step, there's got to be better options out there for you. And I highly recommend that you give us a call and give us a chance to sit down and look at your overall budget. Maybe we could find some answers for you there. And last but not least, payday lenders. Oh yes, payday lenders. Come on in, let me see your paycheck. Yeah, no problem. I'll give you $500 and you can pay me in 2 weeks. Oh, you don't have it? No problem. I'll just charge you $75 and we'll give you another $500. And you still owe it in 2 weeks, and so on and so on. And God help you if you have multiple payday loan lenders out there. It's time to it's kind of a come to Jesus moment when it comes to this situation, because you need to stop borrowing. Literally stop going. And pick that phone up again. I hate to say this. I get paid to help you by creditors to assist you with this. Call Randy at A Debt Coach. I'm extension 4. Give me a call. Let me help you. Let me help you solve these issues, because they're kind of bad. And last thing on earth we want to do is have that issue driving yourself nuts, especially when it comes time that you have to break the issue and you don't have the funds to do it. Make sure you give me a call and let me help you and assist you with that. And that also goes for collections. If you have collections on your credit report, maybe we need to do a credit report reading. Sit down and kind of, we could do this. We do this by Zoom. We do this by phone. We do this together. And I teach you how to read your credit report and show the things that need to be resolved and things that don't. And a lot of this is going to come up on the 17th of July when I get back. And we're going to do the credit repair and how to repair your credit for free. Don't have to pay me to do that. Again, I keep reminding you guys, you should pick up the phone and call us for any help you need with your finances, as I do get paid to help you. But yes, we're going to have the show on fixing your credit on the 17th. I do look forward to that show. And we're going to break down how to solve collections and all the different things as we work on our credit reports.
Welcome, everybody. Randy, I want to talk to you about debt management, because it sounds like a simple or common sense concept, but what is an actual debt management plan?
Well, let's look at a scenario. We got this client here has got $16,758 in credit card debt. Minimum payments of $470 a month. Interest rate average across the board of 21.92. That's a kind of a standard situation that we deal with.
Right.
So with the debt management plan, we're able to lower the payment down to $387, save them about $83 a month on their ALCO. But in the same breath, we drop the rates to 5.9, and we have them out of debt in 4 years.
That's huge to get the rate dropped that much.
I want to keep people in mind, it's the $387 also includes our $35 service fee that covers our expenses to help you. And that allows us to work directly with your creditors, your bank, to make sure every payments are paid on time and make sure your credit gets reestablished perfectly.
Excellent. So what are your best tips for an effective overall debt management plan?
Look at your credit card statements. If you can't make that 3-year payment and you're stuck on minimums, you need me.
Let's get rid of the rates so your payments go to where they need to be, the
The
principal.
principal, right? Okay, and then where's a good place for somebody to start? Because when you're that in debt, you feel overwhelmed. So where do you
Absolutely.
start?
Give us a call. I know that's hard to do. One of the hardest things to do is to call me, and that's because you feel like you failed, and that's not what we're here for. We're here to actually guide you to the right way to get to where you need to be. That's why we started this organization in '92, and we've helped thousands of people get where they need to be.
Wonderful service that you're providing for people. Thank you so much.
Welcome back, everybody. What a great evening it is dealing with debt. I hope we had a good conversation. I hope I opened a few eyes to some situations to help you solve some of your future problems or current problems that you're dealing with. I want to remind everybody that coming up on July 17th, which is a Sunday, we are going to be moving the show to a Sunday evening to make it easier for people to participate. And on that show, we're going to do on the 17th, we'll be fixing your credit. So I highly recommend that you look for that in your feeds. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and like. Go ahead and do whatever you have to do on your feeds out there to get these videos. And please do me a favor. Always please share these videos because you never know out there who really needs the help. Well, thank you so much for coming or showing up this evening. And thank you for watching this. And I hope to talk to you again on the 17th.